Greetings metalheads, welcome to another edition of the Friday 13th YouTube channel. If you subscribed, thanks very much, I much appreciate it. If you haven't, please do, it's free. There's some great interviews coming your way, audio and visual. So, tonight, on the 20th of February 2022, I had the pleasure of interviewing Rick Altzi from the band Masterplan. Rick also sings for the band Herman Frank band, which, as we all know, Herman used to be in Accept. Now, Rick's about to release a new solo album called All Eyes on Me. It's a fantastic album, about to be released on the 23rd of March 2022. Now, Rick's got some really kick-ass musicians on this album. Tons of guitar guests. We've got Joe from Whitesnake. We've got Matthias from Freak Kitchen. We've got Per from Meshuggah, another great band. We've got Ollie from At Vance. We've got Oliver Hartman, Avantasia. We've got Morgan from Swedish Erotica, and we've got Victor from Gathering of Kings, Magnus Carlson from Freefall, also used to be with Primal Fear, and we've got guitar god Andy LaRock King Diamond. What a great guitarist. We've also got Magnus from the band Arctic Rain. We've got Stefan from Vindictive and Eric from Dreamland. These are all great guitarists appearing on this new album that's coming out soon. So please enjoy the interview. Let me know what you think. Please share on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. Yet again, thank you, Rick, for the interview tonight. It's been a pleasure speaking to you. Keep in touch, my friend. I'd also like to thank Bridget at Get Music for setting up the interview. So, folks, be safe, stay metal, plenty more interviews coming soon. Cheers for watching.
Yes.
Greetings, everybody. We're about to do an interview with Rick Altzi. Rick, how are you doing, my friend?
I'm fine, thank you.
Good. Thank
you. Okay with you?
Yes, good. So, how has the pandemic affected you in Sweden? How have you coped with this mad year that we've had?
I mean, of course, it affected everybody in different ways, but for me, it was a lot of lost shows, of course, for 2 years. No festivals, no concerts. I was lucky enough to have my own small studio and some good friends, so we started recording songs in beginning of 2020 to do something with them, and it ended up with a solo album for me. It wasn't supposed to be that from the beginning, but it ended up that way anyway. So
brilliant. So I'm going to ask you some warm-up questions. So at the beginning of your career, what came first? Did you become a singer first, or did you play an instrument? And at what age was you when you decided to be a musician?
I mean, I played a lot of instruments. I started out when I guess I was like 10 years old, playing for the I don't know what to call it in English, the vicar.
Oh, the choir. Yeah.
He had a church. There was a lot of ladies and the vicar, and I was playing some electric guitar, but the rest of the ladies were playing acoustic guitars, and my father had to make like an old radio to be my amplifier. So I connected my guitar so they can hear me at the rehearsal. So it started out, I was 10, 11 years old, and play some guitar, head down, you hang Tom Dooley or whatever. So it's
so guitar was your first first instrument. So did you? So what rock guitarist inspired you then? Did you have any rock guitarists back then that inspired you to play?
I mean, when I was that young, I didn't really. I just wanted to play some instruments instead of playing the flute. That was the only option at school. I did this. I played the guitar at home instead. So, and then. When I started playing bands in my teens, like 13, 14, 15 years, I played bass mostly. So if you look around here, I have some of my instruments hanging on the wall, and it's, I guess it's, some guitars, some Les Paul, some basses, and I just use them when I'm writing songs and stuff.
That bass guitar you've got with the camouflage on it is not Sabaton's bass, is it?
No. This is... this is made in Germany. It's Bogart basses. They're fantastic basses. I played a lot of jazz and rock music when I was younger, and especially jazz with those basses, and it was nice. So I started to sing really late. So I was first of all a musician, and then I quit music and became a singer, as we say. So.
Okay, then. So who's your guitar influences? Who inspired you to play guitar?
At that time, I played mainly, I was so young, I was 11, 12, 13 years old, so it wasn't really inspired by anybody. But when I got older, I realized that I just couldn't play the guitar the way I wanted to play it. I mean, I liked Yngwie Malmsteen. I liked all the Dio era with all the Dio guitarists, and later on, I mean, Doug Aldrich and whoever. And that's the guys, the blues rock guitarists. I really like them. So, but it's I was never able to play like that. So that's the thing.
Right then.
And I don't think I had the what do you call it? Not time, but I didn't have the. I just couldn't spend all the time practicing to get that good, I guess. I'm not sure. I don't know why I quit guitar, but I like playing guitar, but I never spent the amount of time you need to do because there was so many other things I wanted to do, so I don't know.
Yeah. Okay, Rick, can you just lift your microphone up a little bit? You can. Some of your face is missing.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. That's better. Cheers, thank you. Yeah, so, as a singer then, so what age did you become a singer? Why did you change?
I mean, after guitar, I played bass for 10, 15 years in different bands, in small bands in Sweden, Sanity and some other bands, and also a lot of cover bands. And then I was 35 when I started, actually 35 when I did my first album as a singer, but I started it 2-3 years before that to try to sing because I love to sing. And all of a sudden I was the singer I was playing bass in the band, but then the singer quit and we tried a lot of singers, but nobody could do it. So then the guitarist said, I bet you can sing instead and we get a new bass player. It's much easier. So I started to sing in the local band here called Sanity. And that's how it started. I was like 30 years old, so it's strange how it can go. In 35, I did my first album with At Vance, and that was my first album I was singing on more or less professionally. So it's
that was in that was in 2007 with the V11 album.
Yes.
Yeah, really good album. So, which singers inspired you to become a singer? Who do you look up to and think these are the guys?
Long before I even was a singer, I listened a lot to Dio, of course, Whitesnake, Coverdale, and I listened to John Sykes. I liked his singing also, even if he was a guitarist. I liked his singing, and there were so many good singers. I liked Ian Gillan, and yeah. But I never, when I started to sing, I really didn't think about. I mean, when you open your mouth and start to sing, there's a sound coming out and a voice coming out, and I didn't really thought it would sound like I do now. It's strange, but you never. If you just start to sing and then you realize you have a kind of vocal you didn't expect yourself to have, because and then all of a sudden you all realize that okay, then I have to maybe go to a little bit in this direction or that direction, because I can't sing clean voices, and then that's okay, then I have to skip that kind of, so I can't sing David Bowie or whatever. I need to stick to the things I can do. So then it's yep.
Did you have any vocal coaching lessons, or did you just teach yourself?
No, I never took any vocal lessons, but of course I guess if you're a singer that's starting to sing, I guess it could be wise to take some lessons to speed the progress up. I mean, I was singing since I was 18, 19, but as a backing singer and playing bass at the same time, so I was never the lead singer. I was only backing vocals for 10, 15 years. And of course those 10, 15 years as a backing vocal singer in a band, it was still my voice still got better and better, of course. So when it wasn't really hard to go to lead singer, but the hardest part was I couldn't just hide behind the drummer or whatever. As a bass player, I had to stay in the middle of the stage and actually say hi to the audience. So that was the hardest part. The singing part wasn't that strange, but the hardest part was to go from bass player a bit in the shadows to front guy just overnight, and that was the most frightening things after all. So it's how it is.
I mean, you came into At Vance's career halfway through, didn't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you did the V11, then you did Ride the Sky, and then Facing the Enemy, which is a great album. So how did you feel about joining At Vance? What was your first feelings when you were asked to join the band?
I liked it because At Vance was one of the bands I really liked, with Oliver Hartman on vocals, and after that it was Mats Levin, and I liked all the albums. So the thing is, it wasn't I wasn't a singer at the time, but I started to sing, and I wanted some songs to sing to, so I could promote myself. So I actually wrote Olaf Lenk, the guitarist of At Vance, and asked him if he had some songs lying around that never were good enough to fit on the albums or whatever. So, but he said, I don't write bad songs, so all songs I write end up on the album. So he was not very modest. But anyway, so instead of sending me a song, a couple of weeks later, he asked me to come and try to do an audition for the band. And I was totally scared because I was never like a lead singer before that. So I sang at home, and I did some local shows with cover bands, whatever. But I was never supposed to be in At Vance. I was just wanted to get some songs to record at home with my new recording gear, and I wanted to promote myself as a singer. But it was totally shocked when he asked me to come and do an audition. So, but on that way, I did the audition, and he liked it. So that's the rest is history. So then
So the three albums that you did with the band, which one's your favourite and why? Do you have your favourite album with At Vance?
I think Facing Your Enemy is the best album that me and Olaf did together, because it took a couple of years before we could have a good working connection, that we knew what worked for me, what worked for him, who's going to write the lyrics, what the lyrics about, and then how's the melodies going to be to fit me. And he didn't know anything about me, and I didn't know a lot about him as a songwriter. But all this albums I heard was not with me in vocals, so we had to adjust. So the first album was probably the best to record because I loved it, because it was the first album I ever did as a singer, and it was fantastic. After that, you just were up in the skies like this. You loved it. But then the best album musical wise and also performing wise, I guess it's Facing Your Enemy, because then we had a couple of 4 or 5 years to learn how we work together, and it was easier and easier to work. So I guess production wise and musical wise, it's Facing Your Enemy. But for me personally, the first album I ever did, the V11 number 7, was the best feeling for me. I mean, it's that's how it is.
So why did you leave the band? Are you still in contact with Ollie?
Yeah, I never left the band, and I've been on him every second year. We have a long discussion on why we don't do another album. But Olaf, the guitarist, he lost the whole interest in the metal scene, and after that album 2012, he just said, "Nah, I'm not interested anymore. I don't want to write albums with metal music." So that's a pity, because he does it so well, and he's a good guitarist, and he's a good songwriter. So I don't know why he doesn't want to do it. He just said it. Nah, he's getting older, and he loves playing the acoustic guitar, singing, singer-songwriting, singing himself, do some small shows around his area in Germany. But I hope someday we talk every second year or every year a little bit, and then try to convince him to do another album, because I say I'm on. So let's do one album more, just one. It doesn't matter. Just do one final one, because we weren't ready with that album. We weren't done. We were still we have so much songs that we could write together. So it's I think we should do one more.
Yeah, definitely.
Let's see what Olaf said. Yeah,
definitely. So the next band that you were in was Frequency. You did the album Compassion Denied, which is a fantastic album. Different style to what you were doing with At Vance. It sounded a little bit more like Riot, Nocturnal Rites, that kind of thing.
Yeah. It was. It came up very, very strange, because I did. I was in the studio doing something else. Can't remember what. But then all of a sudden I got a call from. It was actually people who lives only 20 minutes away from me. So, but I never worked with them or never played with them. But their singer, they had booked the studio. The album was supposed to be done. The first singer was Glenn, another guy. Glenn did the first album, and then all of a sudden he ended up in some kind of accident with a car in a tree. So he was disabled. He couldn't sing it wasn't. I didn't know if he ever gonna sing again or whatever. So they asked me, next week we have an album recording. Could you do the album? Okay. So I just went over and they gave me all the songs with guitar melody, playing all this melody on the guitar, and I got the lyric sheets and I rehearsed for a couple of days, and then I went to the studio and did the album. So it was a really strange way of doing an album, but I like it. It turned out really well with got tough style and 7-string guitars and a really heavy sound. So, and it's a pity that people didn't hear that album. It's a really unknown album. I mean, I have it up here. It's always up here in my shelf, but I guess I have one of the 100 copies sold or something. I'm not sure. Unfortunately, the band didn't get the break they should have done, because it's a really good band. So, I
mean, I've got the album myself. And I think it's fantastic.
I mean, let's do some promotion. If you find this in anywhere.
Yeah, I've got it.
Just buy it.
I think I got it like for €5 at the Headbangers Open Air Festival.
Perfect.
Great album.
Strange. I mean, sometimes you do like great findings in this kind of, but it's a really good album, and I'm sorry it didn't get any more attention than it got.
It's like, for me, when I heard the album, I thought it was a brilliant album, and I thought, why don't these guys do another album? What's happening? When they do such a good album, then nothing happens afterwards. It kind of makes you wonder what's going on.
Yeah, I think the rest of the band, I talked to them later because they live close to me now. So, but some of them, it's family and whatever. They just, as a band, they just somehow dismantled. They couldn't keep it together because there was so many different. It was work, family, kids. Everything happened. So
it's a shame. I mean, after that, you did the other band called Sandalis. Is it Sandalis or something? You did an album with those guys.
Sandalinas.
Also,
I think that was a strange thing, because when you started, I was never a singer before I started with At Vance, and as soon as I started there, I got all these strange questions to do albums. So I mean, Sandalinas was also like, I didn't know about it. It was a friend of mine, Apollo Papatanasian from Firewind. He did the first album with these guys, and then he didn't have time to do it. And all of a sudden, they called me to do the album. And as a totally new singer, I said yes to everything, of course. So, but it's I mean, I did an album with Jordi Sandalinas, a Spanish guitarist, and it's okay. It's recorded in one of my friend's studios from Andy LaRock Studios here in my city. So, I mean, it was a nice thing, but I was new. I did everything. The first 5 years, I said yes to pretty much everything they handed me. So
you were there for pretty much in demand then, wasn't you? A lot of people really wanted to work with you.
Yeah, all of a sudden, because as a bass player for 15 years and you only played your own shows with your own band, and all of a sudden people just messing you, say, can you sing this? Can you do that? I said yes to everything. So for a couple of years it was pretty busy, but then I started to say no, because I really, it was hard to be everywhere all the time. So a lot of the albums I did was really early in my career when I said yes to everything. But then after 5, 6, 7 years, I started to say, no, I just stop. I can't do this. And I still have a hard time to say no when people write me and say, could you sing on these songs? And I said, if it's really good songs, I have a hard time saying no, because I love to sing. So it's hard to say, no, I won't do it, because it's much easier if it's crappy songs they send me, because then it's... If it's a good song, I really want to record it, because I love the music and I love to play music. So it's hard to say no, but you have to say no mainly because you can't be everywhere all the time. That's the thing. So and people think because I record a couple of songs on an album, I'm in the band, and then they want to see me on tour or whatever. It just doesn't. So I'll more or less, if I don't really like it, then it's friends of mine. I just basically say no today, because it's not because I don't want to do it. It's just because I can't be everywhere all the time, because people think I'm in 100 bands at the same time, but I'm not. Actually, right now I'm just mainly doing 2 bands. It's Masterplan and Gathering of Kings, and I'd also do some shows with Herman Frank still when he's not out with his other band. So it's
yeah. So what do you think of the album? So what do you think of the album Fly to the Sun? Do you think it was a good album?
Yeah, I mean, strange. It was really strange because when I came to the studio, it wasn't ready. I came in and was supposed to record it, and the guitarist Jordi wrote a lot of melodies, and I couldn't just understand what he did. So me and Andy LaRocque just re-recorded a lot of stuff when he wasn't there. Don't tell him. but anyway, he liked it when he came back from his trip. So but we had to make it fit a little bit better to my vocals. Sometimes it doesn't work when somebody writes something and you want me to sing it, because it doesn't work for me to sing that way. So but it turned out pretty okay. We're talking 2008 here. It was my 2nd year as a singer, so I'm still happy I did it. And I went on a tour with him together with House of Lords, and I met James Christian and his wife, very famous singer as well. What's she called?
Yeah.
I forgot her name now. Doesn't matter. For the very first time, Coca-Cola. Doesn't matter.
Oh yeah, I know you mean.
Robin Beck.
Robin Beck. Yeah.
Yeah. So it was happy times. It's nice to, when you're quite new at the game, just going on a tour on Europe for 20 days with nice bands and having a good time. That's that's fine. I can't complain. So, but I like the album. Is okay, even if it's not. It's about the songwriting. It's not any exceptional musicians on the album. Whatever. It's just I'm singing. There's a guitarist, a bass player, and drummer, and we did some songs together, and they sound okay. But it's not like a virtuose kind of album. It's not, of course. But it's okay.
Yeah, so the next band you was in was Herman Frank, wasn't it? You joined Herman Frank and you did the album Right in the Guts, which is a great album.
Yeah, that was also like a...
How did you hook up with Herman? How did it work?
Yeah, it was a long time ago, but I think it was a mutual friend of ours. Guy lives in Canada. Canada he lives, yeah. And he knew Herman, and he knew me from another band, and he just knew that Herman needed another singer, so he contacted me to talk to Herman, and Herman to talk to me, and all of a sudden we were in contact, and I was a bit afraid because he was the guitarist of Accept at the time, and he was touring all the time. So I met up somewhere at some festival, Sweden Rock or whatever, and we talked about it, and we decided to do an album, and we did the album, and it turned out a little bit harder than my normal musical style, a bit rougher and tougher than I was used to, but that took me out to that side of music, to the heavy side that I never explored before, and as a singer at least, and also I got totally to the other side now later on, but it took me to the hardest rock and roll music I've done so far. So but I like it. It's yeah.
So basically, it was a challenge for you going in a heavier direction.
Yeah, it was really a challenge, and it was. Even if the Herman Frank album isn't Accept album, his songwriting. He's been writing songs and having this in his head for 20 years. The riffing and so even if it's Accept riffing and Accept songs that could work really good on an Accept album, it was supposed to be done with more what should I say, more power metal or heavy metal vocals instead of typical Accept vocals, and sometimes it's hard because it's screaming and fighting, and live it's a bitch. 2 hours on the stage with him, you can't talk for 2 days.
Wow.
It's really hard.
So do you have a favorite album with Herman?
Now they're all different, and as I said, before with the At Vance album. The first album was really nice to work because we just did it. We just did the album. We didn't think so much. But then second album, we started to think and tried to do it. Can we do it better than the first album? And you start thinking and analyzing and stuff. And I think for me, that was the least good album. Even if it's a good album, it was hard. The working process was really hard because we tried to make it better than the first one, and we, instead of just doing it, we were thinking too much. And then the last album, we knew each other so well since 7 years together, so then it was easier to do the third album again, because we knew how to do it without overanalyzing it, so it was easier again. So first and third album, I guess, last album, was the best albums.
Yeah, I remember reviewing them all for you.
Oh, sorry.
So I remember reviewing all these albums for you, and I really liked every album. I thought they had really good, strong German driving heavy metal music.
Yeah.
After that, you joined Masterplan. Obviously, Roland's just announced that they're doing a new album. Finally, hallelujah!
Yeah. Let's see. He announced that for 5 times now, so let's see how it works.
So how did you hook up with Roland then for Masterplan? How did that come about?
That was actually about the same time as I joined Herman Frank, actually. So I didn't do all the albums with Herman, and then because it was simultaneously, I was already in contact when Johan left, and they got Mike DeMeo in. We had some contact because we were on the same label, At Vance and the Masterplan. But then they decided to go with I shouldn't say like that because we didn't talk that much. But I was in contact with Roland already 2008 or something. But they decided to go with Mike DeMeo and did the album, and then they did another album with Jorn again, and then he contacted me 2011, I think 12, in the end of 11, and asked me if I could come do the album because they needed to finish it, and Jorn didn't answer messages or phones or anything. So that's how it is. And since it's 10 years ago since I joined Masterplan, and we did hundreds of shows, and it has been one of the funniest journeys I ever did because we have so much fun. There's so many great guys in the band, and we always get along. I guess we never had any strange moments. Strange moments, but not any not any hard moments. We always get along, even if you're on long tours or if we are doing festivals, whatever. It always works. Everybody does its part and his part, and it always works. It's nice. Now I haven't played with them for 6 months, and I know when we're gonna meet the next time, it's gonna be perfect anyway because everybody does his thing and everybody rehearses his own thing. And when we get together on stage without seeing each other for 6 months, it's gonna be good. So it's always nice. And
So who's in the current lineup for Masterplan now? Who's in the band?
Yeah, it's the same. It's me and Roland, of course, and then it's Axel McElrott in keyboard, like been from the first album, and then we have Kevin Cott since 2014. I brought him in because he was playing with me with At Vance, and then At Vance didn't do anything, and Martin had too much to do with Cradle of Filth, so I guess it was 2014. I asked him to try out a show, and he did it perfectly, so he's been in the band since then. And then we have Jari Kainalainen on bass still, so it's basically the same lineup as when I joined 2011-12, except for Martin, the drummer that from Cradle of Filth, who was replaced by Kevin a couple of years later. So Kevin has been doing the last 200 shows with us, so 150. So you still got the bass player used to be in Stratovarius then? Yes.
Yeah, that's great. Okay, have you any titles for the next album? Any ideas, or is that not allowed to say?
No, nothing. No, I can't say anything. I know that actually they started with recording drums, so I'm not involved yet. I've just tried to stay out of the recording process until they have a good demo working, so I can start working with vocals. I don't like to get the song with acoustic guitar and drums. It doesn't. I need to get it almost as close to ready, because otherwise I don't get the feeling to write the things I need to write. So let's see what happens. So
yeah, was it difficult jumping into Jon Landers' shoes and Mike DeMeo? Was it quite difficult for you?
Yeah. Of course. I mean, that's the most common question I get. How was it to fill Jorn's shoes? But I mean, Jorn wasn't there. He didn't want to do it, so I didn't have to replace him without his will. I mean, he was out of the band and he didn't want to do it anymore. So it was a matter of having the band continuing or putting it to rest. I mean, if they didn't get a singer who wanted to do it, then it was done. I mean, they couldn't do the album. So I never saw that I was replacing Jorn in some way. I had to go after Mike DeMeo and after Jorn, but there was no choice because none of the singers were there anymore. So I wasn't getting into the band to put somebody else out. I mean, they were already out. So I just did it to continue the band and also doing a lot of live shows, because Jorn wasn't very fond of doing 30-40 shows a year. So I don't know why, but he didn't want to do it. So as soon as I came, we started to do a lot of shows again. They did a couple of shows, I guess, in the beginning when Jorn came, but then he didn't want to go live anymore. I don't know why, but
wow. Are you still signed with AFM Records then?
Yeah.
Okay then. So I mean, and when I listen to your voice, you've got a real raspberry sort of voice, but it sounds a bit like Jorn, but you've got like other distinct singers in there. You know, you know when it's Rick singing. There's certain singers you can tell who's who. You know, you stand out. You stand out a bit, and I'm really surprised that Yngwie Malmsteen hasn't asked you to join his band, because you've got the perfect voice for an Yngwie album.
I don't know. I never thought about it, but I guess nowadays he's singing himself, so that's okay. He can. I think he's satisfied. He can sing himself, and he has his musicians there, so that's fine.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm too old.
I mean, after that, you did the Heaven's Trail album. Now, correct me if I'm wrong. Did Kirsten Lizard Schultz do backing vocals on the album?
That's a tough one, because in the beginning I only did 2 songs on that album, and it was so many good singers. We had Johan from Jaded Heart. We had a friend of mine from city next here, Apollo Papatanasian, who did vocals on a couple of songs. We had so many great singers on the album. They did 2 songs each, but all of a sudden, I don't know why, they wanted to not keep all the singers. They kept me and asked me to redo all the songs. And they didn't ask me all in the beginning. First, they asked me to do 2 more songs. I did 4, and then it was 5. And then all of a sudden, yeah, but now you did 5, you can do all 10. So what? So we kept, actually, it's different backing vocals. We have on some songs it's Apollo and Karsten, probably on some songs. So even if I re-recorded the songs, I wanted them to keep the backing vocals, because I didn't really know why am I doing all the songs? I was supposed to do 2, then 4, then 5. Now I've done 10. So I replaced all the vocals, but I guess in their point of view, I think the record company wanted it to be like a band instead of a project. But I told them already from the beginning that I can't be in the band. I love to do the songs, but I just can't be the singer of the band, like officially going on tour or whatever, because I don't have the time. So I really don't know why I did it, but I thought it was good like it was, because it was ready with 5 different singers, and all of a sudden I was supposed to replace everybody. But I kept as much of the backing vocals as I could, because they were so good. Everybody recorded everything so good, so I don't know why I should replace it. So if they wanted me to replace the lead singing, okay, but why do all the backing vocals again when all the singers did such a fantastic job? So that's a strange one. I really don't know it, but it was released by Khalil it's an English company, I guess, Escape Music or something.
Oh yeah,
so,
I know those guys. Yeah.
So I'm not sure why he it was in the last. I recorded my first 2 songs a couple of years before the album release, and then all of a sudden, half a year before the release, it was really important that I did all the songs, and I I don't know why. Sorry, it's strange.
I mean, it's a good album. It's called Lethal Man, and they did one album. But like you said, if you were gonna do all the vocals and get rid of all these really good singers doing backing vocals, it was pointless. It'd be pointless.
Yeah. For me, it was. I don't know who took the decision, but for me, it seemed like a strange choice. But and I took it in small. If they told me all from the beginning, you should do all the songs. They only told me first to replace one singer, so do 2 more songs, and then it was fine. Then it was another singer, and then all of a sudden I did all the singers, and then I said, no, it's not. Why? I mean, it's strange, but
yeah. I mean,
I like the album, and he's a good guitar player, really good. He was in Jaded Heart before in the beginning, and then he was a good songwriter, good guitarist. I don't know why actually.
I mean, I've only just recently discovered you've got the Gathering of Kings. I didn't know anything about this band. Is it a band or a project? Yeah. Is it a band or a project?
No, it's a band actually. We have it's nice. We have 2 drummers, keyboard players, we have bass players, and 2 guitarists, and 5 singers, and we have 5 main singers in the band actually, and then we have another guest singers in every album from mainly from Sweden. So far, it's only Swedish people in the band, but let's see what happened. But there's a new album coming out in this summer, 3rd album with that gang. And the nice part to me is that I sing 2 or 3 songs on every album. So, and even if it should collide someday with the Masterplan concert or whatever and Gathering Kings, there are still 4 or 5 singers who can do the Gathering Kings show. So we don't have to cancel. I mean, it's I like it. It's good songs. It's well written and well produced and well mixed, and it's fun to play with these guys. It's all people from my area. It's less than 1 hour to everybody, so it's nice to meet them.
Maybe you should call the band the Gathering of Swedes.
Yeah, we could. Yeah,
we're all Swedish, all Swedish musicians.
Yeah. But we didn't want to force. It's like it's not this. It is like the same with. It's not about having only boys in the band. We have a girl singer. Next album is going to be a female singer as well. It's not about anything that we need to be kings, like the proper kings, like men. We just you have to be a king of whatever you do. If you're a good singer, if you're a lady singer, girl singer, if you're good at what you do, you're a king of what you're doing, and then they can join as well. It doesn't really matter, because we got some credit. Some people complaining that Gathering of Kings is like a sausage band. I mean, it's just kids, just men wanted to be, but. On the new album, we gotta have some vocals from female vocals as well, and it's not about guys anyway. It's just mainly about if you're good at what you're doing, you're in the band, so that's fine. So
it's kind of weird because I noticed you've got Bjorn. Is it from Soilwork on vocals?
Yeah, on the first album. Unfortunately, he didn't have time to the second album, so we got Johnny from Nocturnal Rites instead on the second album.
Right. Okay. So we're going to talk now about.
Oh,
was that you? Can you hear me?
You still hear me?
Yeah. Can you hear me?
I think my headphones just died, so I just disconnected.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah. Okay, so we're going to talk about the new album now, Rick. Is this your first solo debut album, or have you done one before?
No, it's my first album. So.
And it's called All Eyes on Me. Why did you decide to call the album All Eyes on Me?
If you look at the artwork, the girl Vicky, who did all my artwork, some of the pictures I have in my booklets is made for me, but some of them she already had made up. She's an artist and sells posters and pictures online, and one of her favorite pictures was this one I have on the booklet on the cover side. It's like a lady with all eyes flowing around, and that picture was called All Eyes on Me. And I thought, like 2 years ago, I thought that would be a perfect name of my first solo album, because now all of a sudden all eyes are on me instead of the whole band. It's like people are it's my name on the album. It's gonna be everybody's. If something goes wrong here, it's my ass. I mean, that's the thing. So everybody keeping their eye on me. I can't blame anybody else on this one, because I had my saying in everything. So if anything's bad, I'm to blame. So that's All Eyes on Me.
Do you have any other titles for this album?
The titles?
Yeah.
For the songs?
For the album title?
No.
No, just that one directly. I mean, could you just tell me who these band members are? You've got Magnus Berglund. Who's Magnus Berglund? I've never heard of him. What band was he in?
He's a fantastic guitarist from it's called Arctic Rain, Swedish band. It's from Malmö, so it's like 1.5 hours from me. So that's he was one of the songwriters of one of the songs I got on the album. So he plays a couple of solos and stuff. So, but he's on 2 songs on the whole album. So he's just a co-writer and guitarist on 2 songs. Otherwise, he's just a guest guitarist. So.
Good. I mean, you've got like
really fantastic guitarist.
Yeah, you've got Peter. Is it Albenberg? Is it Albenberg? I can't even say his last name. Yeah. What band was he in before?
The same, Arctic Rain.
Okay.
Arctic Rain, but he writes a lot of songs for different artists all the time. So he's making a living out of writing music. So it's so he writes music together with me and together with a guy called Aldrich from Gothenburg. We write most of the songs, and he also, since he's a guitar player and keyboard player, Pete, he plays the guitar and keyboards on the album. It was natural because he was writing most of the songs anyway, except one. So.
Right then, you've also got on bass guitar. Is it Nally,
yeah.
Yeah.
He's now in Treat, but he was in Therion before, and a lot of big good bands in Sweden. It's really great bass player.
Okay, and Kevin not on drums.
Yeah, from Masterplan.
Right, okay then. So, I mean, I was looking, as soon as I heard the album, I thought, this is a great album. Fantastic songs. I've just reviewed the album for you. And I noticed all these guest guitarists you've got, they're like, holy fuck, these guitarists are amazing. Yeah. I mean, one of my favourite guitarists of all time is Andy LaRocque, Guitar God.
Yeah.
I was like, well, as soon as I saw his name on there, I was like, this is going to be a fucking good album.
I mean, he's a good friend of mine. He has his studio just 15 minutes away from my house, so it's we go camping on the weekends and have a nice time drinking rum and smoking cigars, so that's fine.
Is it a King Diamond rum?
Yeah. No, actually last time it was Motorhead actually.
Okay. Okay then, so you've got all these musicians. You've got Joe from Whitesnake. How did you hook up with Joe? How did you get with Joe?
No, it's actually Victor who writes the songs together with me and Pete. He also writes songs to, I think it's Canadian singer or American singer, Rob Moratti. And Rob Moratti had Joel as a guitarist on the whole album, so he already knew him. So we asked him to do a solo because I liked his work with, now in Whitesnake and Trans-Siberian Orchestra. I love him there. So it was nice for him to say yes to do one of the songs on the album. So.
It's kind of weird because like Trans-Siberian Orchestra are bigger than Whitesnake. It's bizarre.
Yeah. Audience-wise, at least. But I don't know if playing-wise on online streaming, I'm not sure. But at least, I mean, show-wise, they are bigger. Yeah.
Oh yeah. So what song did Joe play on then? What song was he credited for playing guitar solo?
Joe.
Yeah.
Yeah, he played on. I can't say this because when we wrote the song, it was called Black Snake, but that's not the title of the song. We just had working title Black Snake, but it's the second last song on the album. No, third last song on the album. I can't remember the name though. Fuck, I have the list here.
I've got it here.
No. It's
we've got
Tossing and Turning. Sorry, I just changed the name 2 weeks ago, so it's we had all these working names for 2 years, and then I sat down one day and redid most of the names to actual working names for the album. But so Tossing and Turning is the one. Yeah.
Okay then. So the next one, you've also got Matthias from Freak Kitchen. They're kind of a strange band.
Yeah. But he's really nice. He also lives 1 hour from me, so I known him and met him for years on concerts and festivals. He's not like a friend that I go out with on weekends, but I know when we meet on festivals and stuff, we always talk and have a nice time. He's a really, really nice guy and a fantastic guitar player. He's a strange guitar player for the kind of music I do. I mean, I'm doing AOR metal more or less, but so he's more like a stunt guitarist doing all these tricks on his guitar. But the solo he did was so fantastic, and unfortunately, we wrote the song, we made a really short solo passage. So he wrote this solo he did was like 10 seconds, and then I thought, no, I needed to have it longer. So we went in and re-recorded it. So we did a double solo instead, and asked him if he could play the double solo, but he didn't have time because he had to release his new album the same week as I had to do so I got another guy playing the other half of the solo. So it's then Yngwie Malmsteen kind of guitarist comes in and do the rest. So Stefan from Stockholm.
So what song was this that they played on then? Which was the song that they played on?
Oh, let me see here. I think it's Strangers in the Real World.
Okay, and then after that you've got a pair from Meshuggah. Kind of a strange band.
Yeah, but he's a fantastic guitarist. So if you heard the solo, you just see I couldn't. You think of Meshuggah and you think that, okay, he can't play the melodic solo, but he did a fantastic solo. Even if it's so correct and so perfect in every note, you can't even. Sometimes it feels like it's a synthesizer playing, but he's actually so accurate in every single note and timing wise. So it's I was really blown away with his solo. He's a really, really good guitarist. I wasn't expecting him to do this good in this kind of music, but he just adapted and did it perfectly.
So what song did he play on? Because I don't know.
Oh, are you asking me all this?
Yeah. Sorry, it doesn't say in the biography, which is a pain in the ass.
Shit! I need to know all the songs now. I need to know all the names of the songs. Walk Alone, it was called, but it's called. There was the working title. Jesus, Desire. It's called now. My Desire or Desire. Yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to ask you about the next guitarist.
A couple of days ago, because I didn't use the word "walk alone" anywhere in the song, and I just couldn't. I don't know. Working title is one thing. You work on a song for 2 years. You have a working title. You write some crappy lyrics, then you call it something, and then in the end, you need to put a proper name on the song before you release it, and then you just have old working titles in your head. You can't. I'm gonna get used to the real titles.
So the next one you've got like Olaf from At Vance. What song did he play on?
He played actually on the first Point of No Return. He played on the first single ever released in beginning of last year. I released 4 singles, 21. So, and the first single was with Olaf Lenk.
Right, then the next one you've got Oliver Hartman, Avantasia, obviously his own solo band. What song did he play on?
I think he played on Hurting Kind, but I'm not sure now. Jesus. I'm just sitting here in my lists and nothing is like it should be. I think it was Hurting Kind, yes.
Right, okay. Then you've got Morgan from Swedish Erotica. Now, I know Swedish Erotica only did 2 albums that I'm aware of, and they were back in the 90s. So how did you hook up with him? Because it looks like they're kind of like not done anything for a long time.
No, he's writing scripts for television series and lyrics, more or less. So he was writing 2 of the lyrics on my album he was writing. And that's how I hooked up with him, because he's working with the same songwriters that I'm working with. So he had ideas for the song. So he made 2 of the lyrics. So that's how he hooked up. And he also played 2 solos and 1 half solo together with Magnus Berglund on one song. So he's only 2.5 solos on the album. So.
Okay, so what songs did he play on then? I'm going to ask you.
Come on!
Go on, I've got to tell you, man, because your biography doesn't tell me who's playing guitar solos, which sucks.
No. The thing is that I'm going to get back to you on that. He played on You Won't Where Dreams Never Die, and let's see here, Wind and the Rain, and Into the Fire.
Right, okay, and then we've got Victor. We've got Victor from Gathering of Kings. What did he play on?
Actually, he plays on Run to You, it's called, the song.
Okay, and then Magnus Carlsen from Freefall, obviously Primal Fear and other bands that he's done.
Yeah. He played on some of the first songs, the first singles. He played on the, it's called, let's see here. What's the second single called? Motherless Child was Andy Rock.
Yeah.
Point of No Return. We had fire with it's a hard thing. It's really hard. This is really hard. Let's see, keeping all these guys in my head. Motherless. No, Motherless Child wasn't. It was.
No, Motherless Child was Andy LaRocque, because I could tell by his guitar solo. He's got a very distinct sound.
Final warning. Question. Final warning. Into the phone. Point to no return. Run to you, strangers in the real world. You don't believe in love, I guess it was.
Right, okay. I mean, Andy LaRocque playing on that album was like, whoa, you could just tell straight away he's got his own distinct sound. He doesn't sound like anybody.
Yeah, and the thing is with Motherless Child, when he played it, I mean, I've known him for 10, 15 years, and we are, even if we are out every second or third weekend with our RVs to a nice place, and like I said, drinking some rum and smoking a cigar, we almost never talk music. So I asked him to play a solo, and he said he was fine doing a solo, and I thought this is going to be interesting, because I actually didn't hear him play this melodic kind of music before. So I've heard him a lot of times with King Diamond and stuff, but he did a great job. I didn't realize that he could play that well, melodical style as well, and I was really, really surprised, and it was a really good solo. Actually,
I mean, I remember hearing Andy LaRocque do he had a band before King Diamond that released an album, Mausoleum, but I can't remember the name of the band, but it was real melodic.
Yeah.
It's a really, really melodic album.
You didn't think I would do a melodic solo, but I can, he said. So I said, yeah.
I mean, you've also got on here, you've got Stefan from Vindictive. I mean, they only did, I think, 2 albums, didn't they?
Yeah, and he plays together with after Matthias Ia Eklund. He did a half part of that solo because, as I told you before, I couldn't get Ia to play the full solo, because when he did the solo it was fine, but a couple of weeks later I did double solo part instead, because I thought his solo was too short, and he didn't have time to do it because I was in a limited time. So I just had 1.5 weeks to make it happen, because then I had to go into mix. So then he said, I just can't do it right now, in a couple of weeks. But so I had to get another guitarist in, and then I called Stefan instead. So he did from Vindictive. He did the other part of the solo. So if you listen to it, you hear first the clean solo of Matthias, and then you hear the kind of Yngwie Malmsteen style on the other half of the solo, and that's Stefan doing it instead. So.
Okay, you've also got Eric from Dreamland. I don't think I've actually heard Dreamland. I'm not 100% sure.
Now you check it out. It's a nice band. I know him because he's a friend of mine, and he played in Dreamland. What the singer was Jake Eve. He also had a band called Amaranth.
Oh yeah,
that. So
yeah, I've heard of those.
Dreamland. Jake Eve went to start the band Amaranth, and yeah, Eric still plays guitar, and he's a nice guy. So I wanted him to play a solo on my album.
So how long did it take to record this album then, Rick? What sort of period of time?
I mean, we started writing songs in the end of 2019, because I met these guys, Pete and Ulrich, and we started to write songs. And the idea we had was they write some songs, I do melodies and lyrics, and then we pitch the songs to different artists. Just because I love to record and they love to do songs, so we just make songs and then we just pitch them out to different artists. But when the pandemic came, every band had plenty of time to write their own songs. Normally, if you're a band that's touring all the time and touring, then it's fine if a couple of the songs of the album comes from outside writers. But when all of a sudden nobody was touring, everybody had time to write their own songs. So it was hard to pitch the songs actually to anybody. One of the songs, one of my favorite songs, Legacy, it was we wrote that for Ronnie Atkins.
Yeah, great singer, Pretty Maids.
Yeah, for a solo album. But I mean, they had so much time to write their own songs, so they did. So I kept it for my album instead. So it wasn't supposed to be an album for me, but we soon realized in the summer of 2020 that now we have recorded like 8 songs, and we have a really hard time pitching them to anybody, because everybody writes their own songs right now. So either we just sit on them and wait a couple of years, and after the pandemic we can do something again. But then we decided, let's do the album ourselves. I'll do the album, and I didn't have anything to do for 2 years, so let's do it. So we actually started 2019 in the end, October, November, December, something. And then we just continued. And so I guess half a year ago, the album was actually ready, but then I had to get in all the solo guitarists and start producing it, cutting a little bit here, because we're still demos. So we need to, a double chorus in the end, or do we have this solo part, or do we do a bridge there, or how do we do this ending? So a couple of months of working with the songs to get them to sound like they're not just made like songwriting wise. We need them to be good songs that was written from the beginning to the end, like a band, like from the beginning to the end. So we sat down, worked out, because all the endings were stopped, like every song was the same ending. So we needed to do some different endings, one live ending, I don't like fade outs, so I don't want fade outs. So every song had to stop like it should, and have the bridge and parts and pauses and everything. So that took another 4 or 5 months to work out all the things. Not every day, of course. So we still have to work with other things, but thinking about it, listening to it, redoing things. And then we mixed 2 weeks ago. We started mixing, and so now it's finished.
I bet you're really happy about that.
I had the knife on my throat. It had to be finished to the 15th, because some of the printed magazines, they need the material 1 month before their magazine comes out. So if I'm going to release in the end of March, it has to be ready middle of February to be reviewed and also listened to, and yeah.
So what other guitarists did you have in mind to do guitar solos? Like, you must have had thousands of guitarists. You're like, I've got to have this guy, I've got to get this guy.
Yeah, of course. But as you noticed, I didn't use the people I work with regularly nowadays, because okay, Victor did one solo, but I could have had worked with Herman Frank, or I could have had Roland, but I still do things with those yearly, so I work with them, play with them. So I think I just wanted to do this a bit separate from my other parts. The only guy I actually work with through all the songs is Kevin, and I worked with him, the drummer. I worked with him with At Vance, and after At Vance I got him into Masterplan, and I also used him because he's a fantastic drummer, and it's hard to we work so well together, so it's hard to work with somebody else. And he knows what I like, and I know how he plays, so it's easy for me to work with him. But otherwise I try to keep away from all the normal people I work with, so it shouldn't be too much inbreed and everything. It should be my own project, not Masterplan with another songwriter or whatever. It should be like a proper my own thing. So I keep it separate from everything else.
Did you ever think of working with Doug Aldrich and John Norham on the album?
No.
Right, okay.
They are fantastic guitar players, but I guess they are in if I'm playing in Division 6, I think they're in Division 2 or 1. I'm not sure. We're not in the same on the same page, I guess. I couldn't call Doug Aldrich and say, "Hey, you want to play some guitar?" No, I wouldn't do that.
Okay, then. So what songs from the what songs from the album do you like? What's your favourites?
It's hard when it's all of the songs are your babies, because you've been writing these for 2 years now. So, but I should say, if I had to choose one song, I'll go for. I mean, I like most of them. Motherless Child or Legacy, and one song that's really, I don't think people are gonna like it very much, but I like the ballad, The Wind. Where Dreams Never Die. It's the last song of the album. I put it last, but even if it's my favorite song, it's really acoustic guitar and some Toto drumming and a really slow song, and I really like it. But it's I can't say that because it's not very metal, is it?
No, I mean, how many songs have you actually wrote? Have you got enough material to put another album out then? Did you write enough songs to get ready for the next one?
I still have. I was actually thinking about not putting 14 of the songs. We have 55, 56 minutes of music on this album. I thought about keeping a couple of songs away that wasn't really fitting really well here. We have like the song where Joel were playing on, Tossing and Turning. It's more rock and roll, and we have a couple of other songs that are a bit faster. So I tried to keep this one AOR, and then the next album a bit harder, tougher album. But then, let's do all the songs that are really finished now. Let's do them. And we still have another 10 songs that we are working on, so I could do another album. But thing is, I'm not sure what's going to happen. I hope I can do another album sometime, but normally I wouldn't have time to do an album. There's so much work with the bands I'm playing with normally, but during the pandemic, there's been so much time for me, spare time. So I could put plenty of hours to this album. So, but I'm not sure. Normally, I couldn't do that, I guess.
So, how heavy would you go? How heavy would you go to record an album? How heavy sort of style of music would you do if you pushed yourselves? What sort of set? Would you go thrash, or would that be too much?
For me, it would be. I mean, if I do an album that I really, I would like to do more like, you know, the band Thunder, right?
Yeah.
Thunder,
yeah.
Whitesnake, that kind of blues rock. I love that. I mean, Danny Bose and vocals is a fantastic vocalist from Thunder, and Whitesnake, of course, and all that kind of style. It should be a little bit slower songs, but still riffy and heavy when it's heavy. So I like that. And AOR, I mean, I'm listening to everything from Journey to Toto to Saga to I love it. I always said a good song is a good song. It doesn't matter how it sounds. I mean, for me, it's the songwriting and how you build up a song from chorus to bridges and verses. And if it's a good song, it's a good song. I can listen to a modern song from the radio. If it's a good song, it's a good song. I mean,
yeah. I mean, when you said you like a lot of AOR hard rock, I mean, one of my favourite bands was Strange Ways. I thought Terry Brook was an amazing singer.
I missed that one. I'm gonna check it out.
Strange Ways. You've never heard them.
Sorry.
I will send you a link on Facebook afterwards. They're a fantastic band.
I mean, I love the music. So many good bands you can hear now that you didn't care about before. But there were so many bands, so you just focused on some bands. And before I was mainly focused on Dio and Whitesnake and that kind of music, and Yngwie Malmsteen and Vinnie Moore and Tony McAlpine, whatever. But then all of a sudden you get older and you start listening to different kind of music. You heard them before, like Bad Company. I always liked a couple of songs, but now I listen to all their albums all the time because I really like them. But when I was 25, I didn't. I liked a couple of the songs, but not all of them. But I'm really into it. So
I mean, for me, I'm still trying to get all these bands from the 80s because I'm a big Judas Priest fan. So I look for Rob Halford screamers. So I found all these bands that never got record deals on YouTube, and I'm thinking, fuck, why didn't you get a record deal? Unbelievable.
Yeah.
You know, so they have
so many good musicians, so many good bands, but it's so hard to reach out today. So let's see what's happened with the album. I mean, I'm happy if it's doing okay, and I mean, the hardest thing by doing an album is not writing the songs, recording it, producing it. The hardest thing is to get people to hear it.
Yeah, I mean, you put it out
to stick out and get noticed. I mean, that's everybody's problem. If you're a small band like me, it's the hardest part is to promote it. It's not writing it or recording it or performing it. It's promoting it. It's the hardest thing. I guess.
I mean, you put this album out yourself on your own label. Why did you decide to put it out on your own label? Did you not approach any other labels?
Of course, I could always use another label, but I know how it works today. You get a small amount of money, and then you have to still put the rest of the money in yourself, and then you never see anything returning back to you ever. Because so I decided to take the whole cost myself, and if something goes okay, I get the money back. If not, it was a nice time.
Yeah.
My own album.
So how many videos have you done so far for this album? Did you say you've done four promotional videos?
Yeah, that's the four singles I made. It was 4 promotional videos. Yeah.
Yeah, are you doing any more promotion? Are you doing any more? Are you doing any more promotional videos?
There was a plan. I'm working on one of them, but I'm not sure now because now I got a good distribution deal for albums. So I'm gonna try to start to send out the albums both in Europe, Scandinavia, and also in Japan. So let's see if they bought a lot of albums from me. So let's see.
Okay. So have you been getting good reviews so far for this album? I just reviewed it tonight and I give it 5 out of 5.
Oh, it's perfect. I got 2 reviews so far, and one didn't do any points at all. He just said it was the top 10, should be the top 10 album of the year. So I'm very happy for that. And the other guy, it was French newspaper. They wrote 19 out of 20. So I'm happy with that as well. And if you gave me 5 out of 5, it can't be much better, can it? So
no, I mean, so far
brilliantly.
So far for me, there's like 5 albums this year that really struck me, and Saxon was one of them. We had Star One, Tony Martin, a band called Lalou, a French band, and then your album. So they're like the albums for me this year so far. So let's see what they are.
Just thank you very much. I'm just
happy.
Welcome. But the only thing is still, even if people like it, you need to get it out there to people to hear it, and that's the problem. So, but I'm working on it. So let's see what's happening. I know that promotional videos could be a good thing. I see the videos actually have quite a lot of hits. So let's see what's happening. Maybe I'll do one more song I have planned, but let's see how it works out.
So the big question is, are you going to be touring for this album as a solo artist with various guitarists, or are you just going to concentrate on Masterplan touring? And
unfortunately this year, okay, if it's like being a massive hit and people want me to play in a festival, I'd probably do it, but I'm pretty booked up this year. I have shows with Masterplan both in Europe and over in Russia and all over the place, and also with Herman Frank, the same, Russia and small tour, 2 weeks in Europe and some festivals. And Gathering of Kings starts now in April, doing shows. So far I can keep everything going. Nothing is preventing any other shows to get doing it. I can do all the shows so far, but so I just don't want to start doing my own shows right now. So this year, I guess, if the pandemic holds, if the corona stays down, I mean, then we at least have 35 shows this year already. So I just don't have time to do my own stuff. But you never know. I mean, if there's a nice festival asking if I can do a show, maybe I'll just do that show or 2 shows, or maybe to the autumn I do some club shows. I haven't decided. I could do it, no problem. But without one album and 1 hour playing time, it's not. You can't do like a headlining show. You have to do like supporting or doing a festival for 45 minutes or 50 minutes. So with one album, it's not easy to do a full show.
Can you imagine? Well, Rick, I'd like to thank you for doing this interview. I hope you have a nice evening. Be safe. Do you have anything to say to the people that'll be watching this interview? I
just hope you doesn't matter if the reviews are good like it has been so far. So if you like the album, just tell your friends and spread it. That's the thing. I mean, that's the only thing right now. If you don't want to, it's so many bands releasing stuff nowadays. So I just hope you like it and you tell your friends and just listen to it. And hopefully I can come play for you someday.
Brilliant, Rick. Thanks for this evening.